Inside a crowded convention center in South Korea last month, Japan's new Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi beamed as she met China's leader Xi Jinping for the first time. She smiled back, a rare display of warmth between the rival countries. Only a few weeks later, the relationship came undone. The spark came in Tokyo when Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi warned in Parliament that a Chinese attack or blockade of Taiwan could become a survival, threatening situation for Japan, hinting that Tokyo might intervene militarily, language far more explicit than her predecessors dared use. Beijing reacted swiftly. They called the remarks an act of aggression. Chinese diplomats described them as interference in internal affairs. High-level climate and fisheries talks with Tokyo were suspended. Reports of informal bans on Japanese seafood followed, along with a plunge in tourist arrivals.
日本领导人日前在国会公然发表涉台错误言论，暗示武力介入台海可能性，粗暴干涉中国内政，严重违背一个中国原则、中日4个政治文件精神和国际关系基本准则，同日本政府迄今所做的政治承诺严重不符，性质和影响极其恶劣，中方对此强烈不满，坚决反对，已向日方提出严正交涉和强烈抗议。
An off-the-cuff comment made during a budget committee session in the House of Representatives has plunged China-Japan relations into their deepest crisis in years, prompting Beijing to escalate the matter to the United Nations and unleash a barrage of diplomatic reprisals.
China and Japan are now facing their worst diplomatic spat in years following remarks by Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi over Taiwan. Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi, in her remarks this month before lawmakers, saying that any attack by China over Taiwan threatening Japan's survival could result into a military response, which has actually triggered the diplomatic spat between the two nations. In fact, the Consul General of China in Osaka has said that Prime Minister of Japan should be beheaded.
Economic and geopolitical expert Einar Tengen said that Takaichi's comments basically suggest that she wants a war with China.
It's a gross violation of the agreements that are in place between Japan and China in 1972, 1978, 1998, and 2008. 4 documents were signed that recognized that China, that was one China, Taiwan is an integral part of that, and that any kind of disagreements between the countries would be handled through diplomacy. This is a gross violation of that. She's, in essence, said that she's willing to go to war with China over something that is an internal matter, and the Chinese are not happy. They've demanded a retraction, and we will see what happens. But there's already been huge economic fallout because of this.
However, to grasp the roused stakes, we need to rewind through centuries of contested sovereignty. Taiwan's story intertwines with China's in fits of integration and rupture. Taiwan, inhabited by Austronesian people, was ruled by the Qing dynasty from 1683 until Japan annexed it. Post the Second World War, the Republic of China relocated there after losing the mainland to Mao Zedong's forces in 1949. Beijing views Taiwan as a renegade province, while Taiwan maintains de facto independence with over 23 million residents. Amidst this, China and Japan's history is anything but simple. sharing a complex history spanning 2 millennia, civilizational exchange, trade, war, and occupation. Japan's invasions in the 1930s, including the Nanjing Massacre, left enduring scars. Post the Second World War, economic ties boomed, yet disputes over history, textbooks, and the Senkaku Islands continued to strain relations. Polls show mutual distrust remains high, keeping historical grievances alive in modern diplomacy. As a result, China also remains skeptical of Takaichi on her stance regarding the Nanjing Massacre.
That she does not have an economic plan. She is desperate to try to resurrect and rewrite history in terms of Japan's involvement in World War II. She's already made statements that they should not be talking about the Nanjing Massacre or the number of people who died during that period. She is a regular visitor to the Yakushuni Shrine, where the remains of convicted war criminals have been, quote, sanctified and worshipped. So she is somebody who is on the opposite side of China, but she may prove something that seems to be coming true.
Meanwhile, Takaichi has maintained that China and Japan's relations remain unchanged.
その上で、中国につきましては先月末、私と習主席との間で戦略的互恵関係の包括的推進と、建設的かつ安定的な関係の構築という大きな方向性を確認しました。こうした考えに、一切変わりはございません。いかなる事態が、存立危機事態に該当するかということにつきましては、実際に発生した事態の個別具体的な状況に即して政府がすべての情報を総合的に判断するということになります。で、こうした説明は平和安全法制成立当時の安倍総理以来、政府としては繰り返し述べてきた通りでございます。私自身もこの答弁を繰り返して申し上げております。政府の立場は一貫しております。
Her remarks revive these historical memories in Beijing, while Japan's shift reflects modern strategic realities: semiconductors, the Senkaku Islands, and US alliance obligations.
日方如果真心想发展中日战略互惠关系，构建契合新时代要求的建设性、稳定的中日关系，就应该恪守中日4个政治文件精神和所做的政治承诺，立即收回错误言论，切实把对华承诺体现在实际行动上。
Analysts speculate that Beijing's reaction is a message not only to Tokyo but also to Washington.
It is better to be an enemy of the United States than be its friend. Look at Putin, look at China, look at the new mayor of New York. These aren't people who came to Donald Trump seeking favor. They came with power, and as a result, they're getting more attention than so-called friends, allies, and neighbors.
The Takaichi-Taiwan row is more than rhetoric. It reflects a region where history, geography, and alliances collide. For the Indo-Pacific, the message is clear. Past grievances are never past, and navigating the straits ahead will demand care, not confrontation.